What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Let's Build the U.S.S. Voyager Season 1, Episode 52. I'm Zero Elite, and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. And if you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, helping me and supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. Today we got about a 19-minute episode. We're going to be focusing on adding detail into the bridge area and also backbone of our neck. So without further ado, let's go ahead, kick back, relax. We're just going to jump right into this thing today. So I want to get into the process and what I'm doing here specifically, because I know that, like I say, like we're doing ship detailing, but I talk about this a lot when I'm doing my builds, and I could probably honestly talk about it even more. So it's going to be something that we're going to be focusing on today: details. You'd be surprised what you can do with the small details. We don't have to go crazy with this thing, but basically what we're going to do is we're just going to pretty much gingerly take our time and just started adding in little details little by bit, or little by little, to get us to a point where pretty much where we want to be, because sometimes you don't need to go super crazy with what you're doing. So we're just pulling up our reference material. So in this case, I'm like, okay, I want to add in this torpedo bay on the backbone of the neck. So I've got my reference photos up, and now we're going to start clearing out some space to accommodate that. And if you've been building on my channel for a while now, like the stuff that we're doing right now, it's not super hard. We're literally just clearing out a space, flattening it out, cleaning everything up, and then we're going to build the housing for what will become the rear torpedo launcher. And like, we don't have to do a ton of work here to get this done. We could probably achieve everything that we want to do with the half slabs, and maybe sometimes even going back between the half slabs and the full quartz blocks. Now you could say I decided that I don't think we went low enough, so now we're going to bring it down by one more. And I might have some, like, I'll have people ask, like, how do you decide, like, your placement on it? Like, to be honest with you, like, I look at my reference material and I just eye it, you know? This is why I always take a lot of time after I make a change or I do something on my build, that I more or less analyze it, you know? And I'll compare it based off of my reference material. This is why I always say having the reference material with you to build is so vital. You guys don't see it, but on my end, I have 3 monitors that are going, and while I'm building this, I have my reference photos up, and I'm pulling this information from the reference to try to translate it over into into Minecraft, into a pixel generated image is what I was trying to get out. Can't even talk today. But more or less what I'm trying to go for here is that we need a flat surface, and then we're going to pretty much build like a bunker over it. Kind of hard to describe that, but not really hard as far as what we're going to do. We just need to do a bottom row of a darker color, because that's more or less going to be the torpedo port. Or at least that's what we're trying to convey out of that. Now, I didn't pull out and stop far enough, because I know somebody's going to ask me, like, where did you get your placement? So we're going to go back on our cuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But some of this stuff, it's not super vital. Like I'm telling you, like, if I'm eyeing it and I'm okay with it, you should be okay with it too. Like, this is why, like, if you've gotten this far with me on the build, give yourself a little bit more credit, because you can do this. It's just a matter of breaking it down step by step. That's exactly what I do. But, you know, hopefully this tutorial will give you some ideas on some other things that you can do. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, because I didn't even go super crazy with the details on Voyager, because um, I don't know, like every build's different, but for me, like it just you kind of know when the build is done. But that's why I also take my time, especially when I'm doing detailing, because you don't want to add in just a whole bunch of crap just for the sake of it being there. Because sometimes it doesn't always translate over the best way in Minecraft. I've been messing around with this stuff for a while, and what I've basically gotten out of it is that it pretty much comes down to the build. Um, at least just in my experience. There's probably going to be somebody out there be like, no, I want all those details. It looks awesome to me. And you know, if that's the case, you do you. But I don't know. For me, some of this stuff we can get away with not having it because it almost makes the builds look a little bit better, is what I'm trying to get at. So we're just going to take our time and doing just a little bit of detail at a time, a little bit of detail at a time, just breaking it down step by step. And we'll know when the ship is done, pretty much. When you're at that point, you're looking at it and there's nothing else that you feel like you need to add, stop messing with it, move on. The hard part with Voyager, believe it or not, is that there wasn't actually a heck of a lot of detail to go off of. When you look at Voyager, she's actually a very, very plain ship. There's not a lot of detail on the outside of it. There's not even a lot of Aztecing, like when you compare it to like the Enterprise D. So there was even like a couple of areas here where I took minor liberties, like with the gray pinstripe going down the backbone. That's not necessarily on Voyager, but I just decided to do it because it complemented the build for me, and it's, in my opinion, it makes it look better. Does it have to be there? No. If you don't like the pinstripe for the backbone, take it off. You know, that's the beauty of doing these builds. There's no set way, no right or wrong way of doing this. If you feel that there's a different color scheme that you want to do and it's going to look better, I say go for it, you know? These are just ideas on what you could do. But like I said, for me, when I was doing this, I didn't want it just to be a one solid block ship as far as the color goes. Or I needed to have just a little bit more, you know? But then again, there's finding that fine line of adding in just the right amount of detail, but also bearing in mind, in this case, Voyager doesn't have a lot, you know? So that's why it's even more important here that we take our time even more, because maybe there's some detailing here and there that we add in, and it might not look good. It might be just way, way too much. So all I'm saying is just be aware of that, you know, and pick and choose what you want to do. Okay. You know, it's funny because I called this piece here the torpedo launcher, but I was actually mistaken. There's like a dip on the left side of the backbone on Voyager's neck, and just on the left side though. And then when you go down a little bit, there's a torpedo launcher. So we did that dip right here on the left side. So now we're going to go down with a cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on our fifth row, this is where torpedo or rear torpedoes will go. And you know, again, I'm eyeing this stuff. If you're looking at this and you're like, well, you know, it doesn't really look right to me, or maybe I want to move it back one, or you know what, maybe I don't, maybe you don't like the rear torpedo launchers. Do whatever works for you. You know, I can't stress that enough. Have fun with this build. That's honestly what I try to do. Like, don't get me wrong, when I'm doing these builds, like I'm looking at my reference material. I do plenty of research as far as the interiors on the ship. At the same time, I also make a point to remind myself just to have fun with this. And if there's something different I want to do, I don't constrain myself to canon, because Just again, my opinion that these are made up ships. You can do whatever you want. Who cares? You know? It's not like this is going to appear on an episode of Star Trek. This is just your own personal build, so might as well have some fun with it. That's just honestly how I look at it. But at the same time, I still try to keep the ships within canon, but having a little bit of fun with it at the same time. Now we're looking pretty good with our torpedo launcher. What I'm basically messing with right now is getting my color palette right, because what I don't want to do is, as I have these torpedo launchers, I don't want them to blend in with the backbone so that you don't even see them there. So that's why I'm using a different color for them, because I want them to stick out, so this way when you're looking at it, you're like, oh hey, torpedo launchers, rather than it just looks like a white bump on the backbone of the neck. That's why I say pinstriping is so important when you're doing these builds sometimes, because the pinstriping can really help you as far as helping to bring out those details. Alright, so now we're going to clear it out underneath here, and we're not going to make a functioning torpedo launcher, I don't think. I mean, we'll have the room to where we can do it if we really, really wanted to, but I think as of for right now, we're just going to facade it out. And doing gray on the bottom too, that might work out pretty good, because now it's matching with the top. What I should do is just close off the sides and do a dark concrete block going one back and just call it a day. That's probably what I should do here. That's not looking too bad. And so we're just going to close that out there. And we're going to make a point to go one back. Don't want it to be flush with the front, because we want to give it a little bit of depth if we can. You see, that doesn't look too bad. Very, very basic to do, but if you're looking at the details and you're familiar with the ship, I think at this point now it's like, okay, you see that, oh, rear torpedo launchers. Very, very easy to do. It doesn't look too bad. Is it perfect? No. But for what we're going for here, I don't think this is looking bad at all. I think we're looking pretty good. I was actually shocked with how good, excuse me, my bad. I was actually shocked with how good this build came out. Like both Voyager and the Enterprise D, the same thing happened. I was kind of afraid of both of those builds, because I wasn't sure how they were going to turn out, you know. And while they're not perfect, don't get me wrong, there's still things that I'm even myself learning how to just be a better builder, and you just learn as you go. But all things considered, very, very happy with how it's turning out. Now as we go further down, I'm looking at the reference material, and like it has like these cuts going down that just add like a little bit more definition. So that's pretty much just what I'm trying to do here. We started up 2 cut lines from the back if you want to get your placement right here. And like I said, we're not going to go too crazy with the detail for the backbone. But I think we can still do just a little bit more to get it where we want it. It's not looking too bad. Could even bring that down a little bit here, going back a little bit, maybe a little bit more towards the shuttle bay. That might not look too bad. And instead of doing a double, do a single, because like looking at the reference photo, it kind of looks like it's going at that angle. And to be honest with you, we're not going to know how it looks until we throw it down. You know, that's one of the rules. Sometimes you got to throw something down, see how it looks. If it looks like crap, take it down. Keep messing with it until it comes out a way that you want it to look. And remember, if you're in a situation where you're doing that exploratory building and you're worried about messing up your build, just make a couple of extra save copies. This way, if you start messing around and if you get to a point where you mess up or whatever, just delete it and go back to a previous save. You can just start all over again for that area. Not a big deal, you know. But for what we're doing right here, I don't think we'll have to go that far. And see, that doesn't look too bad. That looks pretty good. But again, the reason why we detailed the torpedo launcher, because you can even see it, like if we would have started to zoomed out more, you're not going to see those cut lines because they're just going to get lost in the white concrete as we zoom out. So I'm just messing around with the shape of the torpedo launcher, maybe bring it, cutting off the back end. And then this dip right here is kind of messing with me. So I want to just make that flush and see what that looks like. So you'd be surprised, like the majority of the stuff that I'm doing here, it's not set in stone. I'm just messing with ideas and I'm tinkering with it until it comes out a way that I'm happy with. And you'd be surprised doing that exploratory building, just messing around, working the problem. Eventually you're going to land where you need to land. That's just kind of how it works with building in Minecraft, at least for me anyway. I find it kind of hard to believe if somebody is able to be just an excellent builder and build something the first go around without ever having to go through a trial and error process. Maybe there's some people that good, but I'm not. I have to go through that trial and error process sometimes because you need to work out the problem to figure out what direction you need to go in. Alright, so now we're going to be transitioning off from our backbone and doing some detailing on the bridge area. We switched over to the white terracotta. And we're not going to be going super crazy with this, but if you do look on Voyager, I never even noticed this, but when you zoom in and really actually start to look at the details on the ship, they're not like this. Like this is more of like a tan pink-ish kind of, but it's more of like a cream tan color that it has detail going around this area. Totally does. Now, somebody might ask, well, why don't you just use the sandstone? I tried the sandstone and it didn't look right to me. I don't know. But when I compared it to the white terracotta, it just seemed like that was the way to go. Now, if you want to use that white sandstone, go for it, you know. But this is just, again, we're looking at these little tiny details in the ship and trying to bring them out just a little bit more. Because I'm telling you, this is what's going to ultimately help to bring this ship to life and make it look beautiful. You know, we've got our, more or less, our template in place here as far as where we need to be, hull-wise. Now it's just getting down to, in my opinion, one of the funnest things to do, the detailing. I mean, it's just crazy seeing the the ships progress over a period of time. And I don't know, for me, it's like rewarding as hell because um, you spend all this time working something, and to see it slowly progress to get to this point, it's just freaking awesome, you know. I love how this bridge area came out. This is probably one of my favorite exterior bridges that I've done so far. Um, I'm not even gonna lie. I've gotten actually a little decent at doing the bridges. Um, because in my rebuild of the Enterprise D, I actually kind of loosely rebuilt the outside of it. Came out freaking awesome. And then the Enterprise A 2.0 bridge outside of it looks fantastic. So I'm getting to a point where like the bridges on the outside of them, not having a problem with them anymore. Um, but man, we shot through this episode. I can't believe we got all the way through that fast. But yeah, we've kind of run out of time today, so I think that's going to do it for me. But I just want to thank you again for tuning in today's episode. And if you did enjoy this content, hey, help me out. Hit that like and subscribe button, helping me in supporting the channel. Drop a comment below, even if it's just to say, hey, how's it going, or critiquing something on the build, or pointing out something that you like. I definitely love hearing from everybody, and it helps out my analytics on my channel, and those that take the time to do it. I cannot thank you enough for that. Also, don't forget to let me know what builds you guys want to see. If you go under, if you comment down below, or you go under the build suggestion tab on Discord, you can drop your ideas in that tab, and people can upvote it. If you're on YouTube, I'll take your ideas and I'll put them on that tab so people can upvote them. So definitely check that out. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for me today. I just want to thank you all again for tuning in today's episode. I hope everybody has a happy and safe week. And of course, what did you make in Minecraft today? Let me know in the comments section and post your photos in Discord.